Hello, you guys, and welcome to another live career and job search strategy session with me, Professor Heather Austin. Today, we are talking about the truth about job security, not just in 2025, but in 2026. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to protect your career and stay in demand. So if you guys can hear me and see me, give this video a big, huge thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. And of course, make sure you share this with anyone you know that might need it. And also say hello in the chat. I love seeing you guys jump into the chat early. Let me know where you're joining us from, who you are, if you're a first-time viewer of the channel, or if you are a long-time viewer, let me know that too. So thank you guys so much for jumping in. I always like to say hi to you guys, especially for our early attendees. Tim, I love having you here. Thank you so much for being here. And Victoria, it's always happy to see you. Victoria's joining us from South Jersey. Happy to have you. Alexia is here. Hello. Catherine, hello, my beautiful friend. So happy that you're here. Juan is here from Langley. Happy to see you too. We have a lot of people joining us from all over. Shannon is here from Texas. Pat is here from Los Angeles. Let's see, we have Cindy from Indiana. Welcome, you guys. Say hello in the chat. If you are not logged into YouTube, make sure you get logged in so that you can interact with us in the chat. I ask lots of questions during my live sessions. I give you lots of tips. Make sure you turn off all your open tabs, put your phone on do not disturb, because you guys are going to want to take some notes and you're going to have some action steps at the end of today. Amanda is here. So happy to see you. Jeffrey is here. Suzette, happy to see you. Anne is here. Breezy is here. Frank, always a pleasure to have you. Say hello in the chat if you guys have not done so already. We are going to jump right in because I have so much to share with you today. So get your note taking, whatever you use to take notes with, get those out, and we are going to jump right in. And of course, just say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're joining us from. So we are talking about job security, not just in 2025, but in 2026. I'm going to be sharing with you guys some solid steps that you can take today to stay layoff proof and in demand. I'm also going to be sharing a couple TikTok videos with you guys just so that you know what's happening in the job market. So if you guys are just joining me for the first time, you've never met me before, my name is Professor Heather Austin. I'm actually a university professor turned entrepreneur. I've been teaching and lecturing and all sorts of things for the last 15 years, probably even longer. I stopped counting after 15 because it made me feel old. And we started our YouTube channel, maybe like 7-8 years ago, to teach job seekers how to master the job market. And a little bit about me, if you guys don't know, I have 4 kids. These are just 3 of them you can see. We are learning how to golf. All of us are learning how to golf. It's like our favorite pastime right now. These guys are the reason why I do what I do. And I'm here to help you guys do the same thing. So this is the other reason why I do what I do is we help job seekers land interviews and top job offers at some of the world's largest companies, not just big companies, small companies, mid-sized companies. We are here to give you guys strategies to help you master the job market because look, I know how rough it can be. Sometimes we have great waves of amazing job offers. Sometimes the job market gets a little bit difficult. We are in a little bit of a difficult job market, but guess what? That doesn't matter because I'm going to share with you strategies that you can put into place today to master what is happening in the job market. Now, at the very end of today's presentation, I have a special offer for you. We created a brand new workshop. This is a live workshop we're holding next week for my ultimate resume and LinkedIn profile makeover workshop. It's happening on Tuesday, November 11th. You'll definitely want to stick around to learn how you can save a spot for this workshop. Now, if you do stick around until the end, you'll also learn where you can get a special invite-only link, not just to our resume and LinkedIn makeover workshop, but to a bonus career and job search coaching session on November 13th. Now, the resume and LinkedIn workshop and our bonus job coaching session are happening on Zoom. They're not going to be on YouTube for the world to see. These are private events, and I want you guys to join me for those. So make sure you stick around. Now, the other thing I want to share with you, if you stick around, here's just some of our channel shout outs from people that send us messages every single day about the results they're getting in the job market because they're following the tips and strategies that I share. So we had Calvin wrote in and said, Thank you so much, Professor Austin. I just discovered you a few days ago as I'm currently in the job search and was looking to give my resume and my cover letter a much needed overhaul to better highlight my value proposition. He said, I spent several hours yesterday implementing your tips and advice and landed an interview today. Here's what another viewer said, literally lifesaver. I've sent almost 2,000 applications in the past 4 months after being laid off and nothing materialized. ATS should be illegal. Yes, I agree with that. He goes on to say that he needed a new job ASAP. His resume got dumped and he ended up landing his job offer. And then another viewer wrote in and said, thank you for the resume advice. Both times I used my revised resume based on, sorry, I need my glasses on to read this. Based on your advice, it worked. The job I chose, I submitted my resume on Wednesday. They called him back at 9 a.m. on Thursday to interview Friday, and he got the job on the spot on Tuesday. So you guys, this stuff doesn't need to take a lot of time. What I'm going to teach you today will literally help you land interviews a lot faster and better job offers. Now, one more viewer said, I took an afternoon and redid my resume and cover letter with her methods. I applied for a job that night and landed an interview within 12 hours of applying. So type go into the chat if you guys are ready to learn some smart strategies to stay layoff proof and in demand, not just for 2025, but moving into 2026. Type go in the chat. Now, let me share with you guys really quick what we are going to be covering today. I'm going to share with you smart moves that you can take to make yourself layoff proof, even in this unpredictable industry or job market, wherever it is that you are in the job search process. I'm also going to share with you how to safeguard your ideas and intellectual value during interviews. We're seeing a lot of funny business happening in these interviews over the last couple of months, and I want to share with you how you can protect your value and safeguard your ideas. And then we're going to be jumping into the new rules of job searching so that you can succeed not this year, but next year and beyond. And I'm going to share a couple tips with you to stay visible and in demand. Excuse me. Now, before I jump into my first tip for you, which is smart moves to make yourself layoff proof, I want to share a quick TikTok clip with you. Now, keep in mind, the girl I'm about to bring on, she swears a little bit. So if you have sensitive ears in the room or someone doesn't want to hear this, make sure you either turn the volume down or put earbuds in. I want to share this quick clip with you, and then I'll see you on the other end.
It is confirmed. My company just sent out an email that they are laying off a large group of people tomorrow morning. In case you're new here, I was laid off in March this year. It took me 6 months to find a new job. Got a new job 7 weeks ago, and now this new job has announced hundreds of layoffs. What am I supposed to do here? Is this like a last one in, first one out situation? Is it like get rid of all the like highest paid people? Is it like keep the new hires because they were hired under a secret pretense of like knowing that these layoffs would be coming, and so we like definitely want the new people? That's gotta be it, right? I'm not even eligible for my corporate benefits. That's how little time I've been at this new job. I'm not even eligible for PTO. I'm not eligible for medical benefits yet. I still have a week to go. You're telling me that I might get laid off before I even get a chance to sign up for that shit? Part of me is like, you can't control any of this, so just move forward, business as usual until it's not. And the other side of me is like, no. We care deeply about this, and this will affect our life, and we need to dive deep into every possible scenario over the next 24 hours. It's also weird because like they told us that the people who will be impacted by layoffs will be notified tomorrow morning, but now we just have like a day of work. And I'm like, so we're all just gonna keep working today? I just feel like if you're gonna lay hundreds of people off, like, do it. Just do it. Just do it now. Okay, well, I guess I'll just like get to work, assuming that the shit I'm doing actually matters, because it might not.
Okay, I know that that's not a fun story, but I couldn't help but laugh when I watched her video. I love TikTok because everyone is so real and raw on TikTok. So she got a job. She was laid off first, found a job, and now she's getting laid off again. And she's getting laid off before her benefits even kicked in. Let me know if this has ever happened to you guys. That's why we're here today, because I want to teach you that even if this does happen to you, that there is a way around it and there is a way to implement these strategies so that you're not left in the dust if this does happen to you. Now, she's mentioned something like you can't control any of this. She's wondering, I just got laid off. Do I still show up to work? And do I keep working even though I'm not even really employed with this company anymore? So let me know in the chat if this has ever happened to you. I'm going to share with you 3 things that you need to put into place to make sure that if this does happen to you, that you are one step ahead of the job market and hopefully right on to the next job offer. So the very first thing is that you need to build a powerful personal brand, especially on LinkedIn. Now, if you decide to join us for our resume and LinkedIn makeover workshop next week, I actually think I said somewhere along the lines that this workshop was going to be like 2 hours, but guess what? It's going to be a lot longer than that, because I could talk about LinkedIn for probably an entire day. So when we talk about building a powerful personal brand, your online presence is really what matters. So you have to think of your LinkedIn profile as your first impression to recruiters, to hiring managers, to employers, to anyone that you might be networking with. So of course, this always starts with optimizing your LinkedIn profile if you have not done that yet. Now, in next week's workshop, I'm going to share with you exactly how to do that with some awesome examples and AI prompts to help you get to that place a lot faster than if you're not using AI. Now, the other thing when it comes to building your personal brand on LinkedIn is I want you to be sharing your expertise consistently on the platform. Now, this comes through posts, it comes through articles, it comes through comments, and I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how to do that next week if you join us for the workshop. The other thing I want you to do, and by the way, we're just on step number 1 of this, is network proactively with people in your industry. Now, this could be people that you already know, or it could be people that you don't already know. So the networking component is a big piece to this. Now, the next thing you need to do to future-proof your career is you need to develop adaptable, in-demand skills. So you have to remember, especially in a world of AI, that industries are changing and evolving really fast. So the more versatile that you can be and the more up-to-date your skill set is, the easier it is to make a pivot if you need to, if you're laid off, if you're changing industries, which I'm not sure if I would highly recommend that at this point in this job market. But you need to be looking at online learning. You need to be looking at what tools and resources are your industry using that you can either learn about. Can you get a certification? Can you attend a training course? Is there an extra diploma or whatever that might be to make sure that you are staying in demand? You don't want to wait until you're unemployed to do this. You want to be able to build your future skill set right now. I'm going to add another thing into here is if you are in an industry that is using AI, you need to look at what AI tools your industry is using and you need to get really good at those. So that might take a little bit of research on your end. Now, the next thing to make sure that you are future-proofing your career against layoffs is to create a career safety net before you need it. So you don't want to wait until a layoff happens. You want to make sure you have all of your materials and all of your network behind you so that if or when this does happen, you are totally prepared. So this means updating your resume, updating your LinkedIn profile, updating your cover letter if you need to. It means making sure that you have a specific job search strategy outlined, almost like a step-by-step system in case this ever happens to you. And then the other thing I want you to be thinking about is joining professional communities and masterminds. Now, Tim, we have our free LinkedIn group. Can you pop that into the chat for me? If you guys want to join a group on LinkedIn, this is a free group. This is for anyone that's part of my community. We just started this group, I don't know, a couple months ago. We do have a Facebook group, but we're not using Facebook as much. So any of you guys that are in our Facebook group, we do have a lot of people in there, but we're kind of transitioning over into LinkedIn. In addition to this free LinkedIn group, I also want you to be finding professional communities and masterminds in your industry. So if you can put these three things into place, hopefully it's going to help you future-proof your career against layoffs, or if you are currently unemployed. Now, my question for you is, when was the last time you updated your resume or your LinkedIn profile? So type into the chat, when was the last time you updated your resume or your LinkedIn profile? Now, as you're typing that in, we're going to talk about how to safeguard your ideas and intellectual value during interviews. So this is something that we are seeing happen a little bit more often than usual with a lot of our clients and our academy members that we're working with. I'm going to share another TikTok clip with you. This lady does swear too. She's like really pissed off in the video. She's talking about her husband. She's talking about how he's going into interviews and they're having him do these big, huge, massive presentations. And then he's not hearing back from them. And it's happened to him a couple times. So let me know if this has happened to you. I'm going to pop this clip up for you, and then I'll see you on the other end of this one.
Okay. I have to get this off my chest because I am really pissed about it. If you are in the job market currently and looking for work and you are over the age of 40, I think you need to know something about what I believe companies are doing. My husband has been looking for work and he's had plenty of interviews, but 3 of these interviews have stuck out to me. And the reason is because they've gone all the way through like 5th round interviews and 6th round interviews. During these interviews, each company has asked him to solve a hypothetical situation for their company and asked him to present to their C-suite executives how they would solve this, what type of strategy would he use, that type of thing. So he'll, spend a week creating a deck and get into the interview, and the CEO's there and the hiring manager, and then like 10 other people are there, and everybody's really engaged and they ask a ton of questions and things like that. So my husband thinks the interview went really well, and then they'll say, okay, we'll have a decision by the end of the week and we'll let you know either way. And my husband's like, great. And then the end of the week comes, nothing. He's completely ghosted. And he'll follow up with them and say, via email or whatever, because obviously you don't have phone numbers, and they don't respond at all. And this has happened to him 3 different times. So obviously I realize I'm biased, but rather than it just being my husband, I honestly think that these companies are using interviewees to mine for ideas, for strategies, for information, rather than hiring a full-time employee and paying them a salary and benefits. And I think it's absolute bullshit. And they know that there's nothing that interviewees can do about it, because out here we are desperate for jobs. And, companies don't want to hire right now because the economy sucks. And we're just like, we got to take it up the ass. And it sucks. And I could just be crazy thinking this, but maybe I'm not. Maybe this has been going on for a while. But if anybody else has had this issue, I'd like to know.
Okay, so another interesting story, right? If you guys ever use TikTok, it can take you down a rabbit hole of a lot of things that are happening in the job market. So the interesting thing about this is that she talked about her husband's having plenty of interviews. He's getting to the 5th and the 6th round of interviews, having to submit these elaborate presentations on how he would solve certain problems, and then he's not hearing back from the company. So let me know in the chat if this has ever happened to you. I'm going to share with you some of the red flags that we or anyone in the job market should be aware of if this ever happens to you. I'm also going to share with you guys 3 ways that you can actually protect yourself from companies stealing your ideas when you do go into interviews. So here's the thing I want you to remember. The very first thing is you need to share your approach, not your playbook. So this is where we want to look at what the process and the framework is of how you would do something rather than giving them detailed company-specific solutions, right? So an example would be something like you could say, hey, in my past roles, my approach has been to audit, prioritize, execute, whatever that looks like. And then you could say something like, I'd follow a similar process here, tailored to your company's needs. Now, I know this is a hard thing to do because you want to show up as your best possible self in the job interview, but you want to make sure, and I'm going to share some red flags with you in just a second, that you're paying attention to those red flags so you don't get in this situation. Now, some of these presentations, I know they can take days, they can take hours. Sometimes people will prep for a week before they go into like a final round of interviews, especially if it's with all the hiring managers, with the recruiter, with the CEO, with all the decision makers. You want to show up as your best possible self, but you need to think about sharing your approach and not detailed examples so that they can take it and use it. Not that we think everyone's going to do that, but we are seeing this happen more often in job interviews. Now, the other thing I want you to think about is limiting the work outside the interview, right? So if you have to go and spend hours or a week on one presentation, think about the time that you are spending on that presentation and giving to that company, right? So think about asking up front, hey, how is this presentation going to be used? Make sure when you're talking about it, keep everything high level. You can also add some sort of disclaimer to your presentation, like, hey, this was prepared exclusively for interview prep for this company. You can add that to your slides or to your PDF or whatever it is that you're creating for them. But try and limit that work outside of an interview. Now, the prep, on the other hand, that's where you're going to be prepping for your interview questions. You're going to be making sure that you have all of your mini career stories prepared, all your accomplishments and things like that. But if you have to leave that interview and go spend hours and hours and hours on something to give them, that they're not interacting with you in an interview, they're not asking the questions just outright, how would you approach this, right? You can answer that in an interview question pretty easily. You don't necessarily have to do an entire slide deck and an entire presentation. The other thing I want you to think about is paying attention to the red flags. Now, I'm going to pop up the comments from this video because there was a lot of people that chimed in. This video went pretty viral. But when we look at these red flags, sometimes you'll get a company that's like, hey, can you prepare this for me? And then they say, oh, this is great. Can you now prepare this next thing for us for this next interview? Pay attention if they keep asking you multiple times. Now, in this lady's situation, her husband was just completely ghosted. So at the end of the day, there's really nothing that he can do about that, right? He has to move on from that. But make sure that you ask them up front, hey, can you share how this exercise, or how, if I prepare this slide deck, or if I give you my thoughts and my ideas, how does this fit into the interview process, and what will the next steps be after submission? That's one thing you can do. It's not always going to be preventable. Here's what some of the comments were on her video that went viral. In fact, let me get my glasses on to read these. So, and a lot of people had the same thing to say. If a company needs 6 rounds of interviews, I don't want to work for them because their management can't make a decision. 6 rounds of interviews, that's a lot. Normally, companies can make a decision depending on the type of position that you're applying for within 3 to 4 interviews, right? So keep that in mind if you're now onto the 5th or the 6th. Someone also mentioned, 6 interviews is too many. A lot of people are kind of saying the same thing. Someone says, this is not an interview, it's consulting and they need to pay him for his work, right? I agree. And then, file a complaint with the Department of Labor for unpaid wages. If that's something that you can do if this happens to you, then take action, but protect yourself along the way. Now, my next question for you, and by the way, I know there's lots of questions in the chat. I'll get to those in just a second. What's one thing that you can do if you find yourself in this situation that you can protect your value in job interviews? What's one thing that you can do? Type that into the chat. While you're typing that in, I want to talk about the new rules of job search success in 2025 and 2026 and how you can stay visible and in demand. And then I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about our resume and LinkedIn makeover workshop next week. So take a screenshot of this table at the very end when I'm finished with all these things so that you can remember this. So some of the old rules, and you guys know this if you've ever been to my channel before or if you've ever seen any of my videos, is we used to think that we could apply to everything, right? That's no longer the case. We like to use job boards for research, but we're not submitting our applications to hundreds or thousands of jobs. I know there's a lot of AI tools out there that you can press one button and it will submit all of your information and your career materials to all sorts of jobs, but that really isn't working. So what we have to think about is targeting jobs specifically. You can't rely on volume anymore. You really have to think about how can you stay visible, how can you have clarity, and how can you have credibility when it comes to these job searches. Remember, and by the way, we're going to talk all about LinkedIn next week, that 85%, if not more, of recruiters rely on LinkedIn daily to source their top candidates. They even do this for roles that are not posted. So we want to make sure we're optimizing that profile, but we also want to make sure we are targeting jobs specifically. Now, in a lot of my trainings in the past, I've shared our company job search tracker, or I call it your dream team tracker. Make sure you guys get one of those implemented so that you know what positions you're applying for and you know who you're working with, and it's not just you're blindly applying to whatever comes up. Now, the next thing I want you to keep in mind when it comes to the old rules is waiting for a job to post. We're not going to just wait for jobs to get posted anymore to apply for them. We want to build relationships before these openings are even there. Now, a lot of this comes down to potentially diving into the hidden job market. A lot of this comes down to really your networking and your connections. And keep in mind, I get a lot of people that talk about how networking seems desperate. This is not desperate. It doesn't mean that you're begging. It means that you are curious, that you want to know about certain industries, that you want to know about certain positions that may or may not even be posted. I like to use AI to draft a message, and then I like to customize it, and I like to kind of make it into like a real message that I would send. You could say something like, hey, I saw your post about this topic. I'm passionate about this space, and I would love to learn more about how your team approaches this. Like, you can just send little messages like that. I would love you guys to be doing this every single day on LinkedIn if you have the time and the capacity, because this is what's really going to help you build those relationships before openings even happen. Now, one of the old rules is a one-size resume fits all. If you guys have tuned into my channel before, you know that I'm always telling you to customize every single resume. Now, you can use AI really quickly to do this. I'm going to show you guys how to do it at next week's workshop, but you want to make sure that whatever you're putting into that resume is employer specific. So we're not sending out a one-size-fits-all resume anymore. The other old rule is the hope they find me mindset. Now, I talk a lot about optimizing your profile because, yes, we want them to find you, but it's more about making them notice you. So you now need to change your mindset into make them notice me. When it comes to this, again, this means you have a strong personal brand. You also have your professional story kind of written out. You know what you're going to talk about if they say, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself, or tell me about you. You know what to say in those instances. You also want to have a brand that would almost be like an influencer in your industry or a thought leader in your industry, because if you're showing up and you're adding value, especially on platforms like LinkedIn, this is a make them notice me approach. Now, the last part to this is we're throwing out the focusing on experience, and we're now focusing on your value and your impact. So this means, what are some of the results you've had? What are some of the outcomes that you've had? What are some of the biggest projects you've worked on? What are some of your most noteworthy achievements? That's what we want to get into your LinkedIn profile. That's what we want to get into your messaging. If you're going out on LinkedIn and you're posting whatever content you're posting, if it's a picture of you, if it's a picture of you doing your favorite hobby, if it's something that you learned in your industry, if it's an online course you're taking, if it's a certification that you're getting, we want to make sure that you are always focusing on value and impact. And of course, I'm going to show you guys how to do that next week at the workshop. So before I jump into questions, I want to know, based on everything that I've shared with you today, what's one action step that you can take today to stay in demand and to future-proof your career. So type into the chat, and then I'm going to jump into questions in just a second. Now, I think this workshop, we had close to 2,000 people officially register. A lot of people are going to be watching this on replay. We asked you guys a lot of questions in terms of what's your biggest job search challenge. Some of you mentioned that, hey, I want recruiters to notice me. I want them to discover me. I don't want to have to go out and submit my application on all these job boards, right? That's a pain in the butt. Some of you even mentioned that you want to attract just the higher quality career opportunities. Some of you mentioned that you want to be able to use LinkedIn or use your network to make connections confidently. A lot of you guys even mentioned that, hey, I would love to become a thought leader. I would love to be more comfortable sharing content on LinkedIn. Some of you mentioned that, hey, I don't even know how to condense all of my experience into one resume. I'm not sure how to really write these achievement statements. I also don't want to sound like an AI bot when it comes to these achievement statements. So type into the chat what's one action step that you can take today. Now, of the stories I've shared with you earlier, stories I'm going to share with you again in just a second here, a lot of my clients are putting these practices into place, and they are landing interviews and job offers fairly quickly. Now, because of that, and if they can do that, I know that you guys can too. I want to invite you to join us for our Ultimate Resume and LinkedIn Profile Makeover Workshop. This is a brand new workshop. We've never done this workshop before. We're combining our best resume strategies with our best LinkedIn strategies. We're putting them all into one place, and we're hosting a private event on Zoom, and you guys can join us for that. So you can go to heatheraustin.online/workshop. You can also take a picture of the QR code. I'm going to share with you guys in just a second exactly what we're covering during this workshop. But keep in mind, this is a live interactive workshop to help you write an ATS-friendly resume in record time. Optimize your LinkedIn profile so recruiters find you, and use AI prompts to save hours and supercharge your job search. So if you are having any issues with your resume or any issues with your LinkedIn profile, you're not getting noticed, you'll definitely want to join us for this. Let me share a couple of success stories with you. Michael wrote in and said, "Thank you for the amazing and insightful videos. I applied to a position with my state on 3 separate occasions." So we applied 3 different times. He said he didn't get the job. He said, prior to my 4th attempt, which is before he found me on YouTube, he said, I discovered your videos and studied them day in and day out. And guess what? I got the job. So he put everything into practice, and he was able to get the job after applying 3 times before that. Amy wrote in and says, I stumbled across one of your videos on YouTube, and I have to say it was the best resume video I've seen. She said, the information you provided was so key and truly helped me overcome the hurdle of writing about myself and putting quantifiable achievements into my resume. Now, I know this is a hard one. Who has a hard time quantifying their achievements, especially when you don't have metrics to go off of? She said, I was able to land the exact job I was after with a 35% increase. The hiring manager mentioned in my interview that my resume was highly spoken about within the HR department, which is the first for me. And by the way, we get that so many times from job seekers where they'll go into an interview and everyone's like, how your resume looks phenomenal. So that's what I'm going to be teaching you guys next week. Joshua wrote in and said, thanks to your videos and awesome resume template, I was able to get a 35K promotion. I'm grateful for the work you do. So you guys, not just for my kids, but I do this for you guys because we love getting messages like this. We get these messages every single day, either on YouTube, through our social channels, or in emails. And that's why we continue to do what we do, is to make sure that you guys are successful. Now, I want to share with you really quickly, and then I'm going to take questions, what we're covering during next week's live resume and LinkedIn profile makeover workshop, which, by the way, this is a brand new workshop. We have never released this to the public. You guys are going to get some awesome up-to-the-minute content during next week's workshop. So what we're going to talk about first when we meet up tomorrow on Zoom, or next week on Zoom, not tomorrow, is we are going to talk about the essential framework to building that ATS optimized resume. We want to make sure that you are elevating your resume beyond all the bots, right? So I'm going to share with you guys an essential framework that will help you do that. We're also going to be talking about your resume summary. So this is, in my opinion, still one of the most important parts to a resume because it allows an employer, a hiring manager, a recruiter to see you at a glance before they even read through your entire resume. So you want to think of this as like your highlight reel, right? We all put posts on social, and we all show up as our best possible self on social, right? But behind the scene, it's probably like a shit show, right? Which is totally okay. When it comes to your resume summary, that's what I want you to think of as your highlight reel. We want to catch them right from the beginning and convince them before they even look at the entire resume that you are the candidate that they want to bring in for an interview. Now, we're also going to be talking about a formula for turning your your responsibilities into achievement statements. So we don't want to have, I call them the passive statements. We're going to turn them into active performance statements. And then here's the thing. That's what you're going to use when you go into an interview to talk about yourself. So we're going to be picking out all the major achievements and active performance statements so that you can go into an interview and you can actually now talk about what you've done in a little bit more detail. Now, we're going to also dive into the 7 steps to optimize your LinkedIn profile. We want to make sure that you are attracting top recruiters, and we want to make sure that you are building instant credibility. So we're going to dive deep into that during next week's workshop. Of course, I can't not use AI in all of this, right? So I'm going to be sharing with you proven AI prompts. We're going to be talking about shortcuts to personalize your branding, not just through your LinkedIn profile, through your resume, through the entire job search process. So we're going to be diving deep into that. And by the way, I'll talk about the workbook in just a second because it's pretty darn cool. We're also going to dive into smart ways that you can use LinkedIn to network. So again, it's not just about building that profile. It's now about going outside of that profile, connecting with the right people, showing up online as your best possible self, sharing content confidently, and actually growing your influence. So remember, we want you to get noticed. We're not just hoping they find you. We want you to actually get recognized by the information you're sharing and how you're showing up online. Now, we did add 3 bonuses to this workshop. So these are actually the 3 bonuses that you will have instant access to if you decide to join us in the workshop next week. We go through our cover letter confidence mini series. So this is where you have 2 bonus lessons or 2 bonus lectures that will walk you through how to write a cover letter. Not every job needs a cover letter, but a lot of them still require a cover letter. So this is where I show you how to use AI, how to implement your career stories in your cover letter. This is also really valuable for anyone that has a career gap, that's transitioning careers, that needs to talk about, something that might have happened that doesn't show a consistent employment record, whatever that might be. So we do have that as bonus number 1. Bonus number 2, and I'm looking over here because that's where my webpage is up. Bonus number 2 is our job interview mastery training pack. So not only do you get a guide for this, but this is also where, and I want to say, I can't remember how many additional lessons did I put that up there? I don't know, 6 or 7 additional lessons on just the job interview part. So not only are you going to learn about your resume, your LinkedIn profile, you'll also get bonus lessons on cover letter, and then you'll also get bonus lessons on your job interview. Now, here's the cool thing. We created a brand new workbook just for this event. And I put 20 pages on there. We're actually still working on the workbook. So for those that have already registered, we've had a lot of people already come through the door for this workshop that are already planning on joining us next week. The workbook's not uploaded yet because we're still making final adjustments to it. You will have the workbook before the event starts. In fact, you'll have it probably days before the event starts, but it is your companion workbook. We will go through this workbook page by page. You can either print it out or you can have it as a PDF document, or you can just bring it up on your computer. Whatever you want to do, you get to hold on to this workbook when the workshop ends and revisit it when you are coming back and reworking your resume or your LinkedIn profile. So that is also one of the bonuses for this workshop. Now, here's the thing. We introduced this brand new workshop to just my insider community. So if you guys are on my email newsletter list, we introduced it to you guys, I think it was last week. We have a fast action bonus, and this sold out within like a day of us introducing the workshop. But here's the thing. We are adding 20 more spots so that you guys can join us for a bonus coaching session on November 13th. So not only will I see you on Tuesday for the the resume and LinkedIn profile makeover workshop, but I'm also going to see you on Thursday for an additional bonus career and job search coaching session. Now, this will go to the first 20 people. So it's just for early enrollees. I love my fast action takers. For those that want to join us next week, the first 20 people will get access to this. So this sold out within a day when we introduced this last week, but we are we're putting 20 more spots in here. Here's the thing, you guys, and I noticed that Tim mentioned this in the chat. This workshop next week, the space is limited. So we can't have everyone join us. We have to limit the space because it is a private room on Zoom. They only allow us to have so many people in that private room. So if you are interested in joining us for this workshop, make sure you go to heatheraustin.online/workshop. Let me also show you guys, we did an analysis of this workshop, and we looked at what is everything worth that we are giving inside this workshop. So the total value of all the lessons, the templates, the trainings, the guides is worth more than $22.70. Okay. But here's the cool thing. We are not going to be selling this to you for $22.70. We will normally have this at $297, but we are doing this one-time offer for $67. Okay, so if you guys want to join us in it and you want to join us for $67, you can do that. But you have to remember this workshop happens next Tuesday, November 11th at 10 a.m. And then we're not going to be able to have anyone else come into the workshop after that. In fact, if the spots sell out before that, we won't be able to have anyone jump into the workshop. So if you want to join us for that, make sure you go to heatheraustin.online/workshop. You can also use the link that Tim posted into the chat. I'm going to post this also, Tim, in the chat, and I'm going to make sure that I pin this to the top for you guys so that you can join us if you want to do that. You can either click the QR code, you can click the link in the chat, or you can, not click the QR code, but you have to take a picture of it. Or you can go to heatheraustin.online/workshop and you can join us for this workshop. The other cool thing, you guys, you know that I always mention this. We do have secure checkout. You can use PayPal. We have PayPal if you want to use PayPal or a credit card. Just by going to heatheraustin.online/workshop. Now, a couple success stories I want to share with you, a couple more. We'll do a recap, and then I'm going to answer some questions. Andrea wrote in a little while ago. She purchased one of our programs, and she says, my heartfelt gratitude goes out to you for all of the outstanding content and helpful materials you've provided. She talks about, she said, you've fostered a supportive community, reassuring me that I wasn't alone and that numerous other gifted individuals, which are you guys, were facing the same challenge as myself. She goes on to say, tomorrow marks the beginning of my new role as the Director of Marketing Manager. She says, I have enthusiastically suggested to numerous job seekers to follow you on LinkedIn and take advantage of the resources and video sessions you offer. Let me share with you guys Spencer's story as well. So Spencer, the interesting thing about his situation is he says, this is the first time in 30 years I've gone home feeling good about the day and excited about the future. He said, I followed all of Heather's ideas to a T and it worked. So Spencer actually helps people with opioid addiction land jobs. So he helps them through recovery. He helps them through their job search process. He says, I write, and this is a long message, but he says, I write all this to say that Heather's work not only helped me, but empowered me to help countless others. It is a gift that keeps on giving and is a gift that keeps on going and giving. So I loved hearing that Spencer is using what I teach, not just for himself, but for the patients that he helps to recover and land jobs. Aaron wrote in and said, your resume, cover letter, and interview guidance successfully helped me to receive 2 job offers. And here's the cool thing about Erin. She actually only applied to 2 jobs. And she goes in to say that she was out of her industry for 10 years. She picked 2 jobs to apply for, landed 2 job offers with both positions. She called it her dream job, right? Some people say there's not a dream job. I disagree. I call it a life-changing job offer. That's what I call it. But she says, I was able to land my dream job and it came with the benefits of increased pay. But here's what she says that's amazing. She said, most importantly, work in an area which I find rewarding. I truly believe it was your method of guidance and teaching that led to me successfully receiving these job offers. So you guys, I would love to have you join us for this workshop next week. I know I've already given you some amazing tips that you can put into place today to help you with your job search. Just to recap, if you decide to join us for next week's resume LinkedIn makeover workshop, we are going to be going through our 4-part ATS-friendly resume framework. We're going to be talking about the powerful resume summary strategy. We're going to be also working on an implementation formula for writing your active performance statements. We'll go through your 7-step system to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Of course, proven AI prompts and shortcuts. For personalization, remember, we're not going to copy and paste what the AI gives us. We want to make sure it's personalized. We'll dive into the smart LinkedIn networking and influence strategies, your bonuses, your cover letter confidence mini series. You also have bonus number 2, which is your job interview mastery training pack. Bonus number 3 is your 20-page companion workbook, which that will be uploaded shortly. It might even be more than 20 pages. We're putting on the kind of like the final touches to the workbook right now. Your fast action bonus. Remember, when I introduced this to my insider community, which hopefully you guys are part of my insider community, this sold out within like the first day. So we are adding 20 more spots to our fast action bonus, which is a bonus live career and job search coaching session on November 13th. And then you guys also have lifetime access to all of this. So if you want to join us for that, make sure, let me pop this screen up one more time. And then I am also going to answer some questions. I know we had some really good questions coming in the beginning. I still also want to know if you guys are in the chat, for all of those that are logged in, make sure you guys type in the chat, what is one action step that you're going to take today based on everything that I talked about earlier. And by the way, you guys also have unlimited replay access to this session. This will be up live on my channel. So you guys can go back in and listen to that if you need to. And you know what? Give Tim and Catherine a big, huge thank you as well in the chat for moderating the chat and being here to help you guys with questions and things like that. So tell them thank you. I love them to death and I couldn't pull this off without them. So Tim and Catherine, thank you so much. Hello, Helen. Happy to see you here. So Helen says, what's new for the Resume and LinkedIn Makeover Workshop for current members in the World Class Career Academy? Career Advancement Toolkit, and your other courses. So this is actually a brand new workshop. So everything that we're sharing in this workshop is completely new. We've kind of reinvented our old, I shouldn't call it old because it's still very applicable, resume and cover letter workshop. But I wanted to throw LinkedIn in there for you guys because I feel like that's probably more important than a cover letter at this point, even though cover letter is still important. That's why we put that bonus in there. So if you want to join us, anyone wants to join us, any of our Academy members or our toolkit members, make sure you go to this link or click on that, take a picture of the QR code. Good question. Janice, happy to see you, says, what is the difference between the new and the old toolkit? So the old toolkit is we phased out the old toolkit and we now have our toolkit AI edition. So that's like a whole nother separate thing. If you go to my website, heatheraustin.online, and you go to my career programs, you'll be able to see all the different options that we offer there. Yeah, let me know if that answers your question, Janice. I love it. Tim and Catherine, you guys are the best. Cindy, I love this. I post on LinkedIn every day. Resume was last updated in July 2025. Awesome. Okay, Cindy, are you currently searching for a job? If you are, whatever changes you need to make on your resume, we want it to be updated now. So good job. Yes, good. I love it. You guys were so great in the chat during this session. Okay, Janice is asking about, and you're probably asking, I'm going to pop your question up so that everyone can see what I'm reading. Does this include a new resume template or is this the same? This is going to be the resume templates that we've used. Well, we will be sharing, there's a lot of different templates, but the master template, which is what I want you guys to start with, even if you are transitioning careers or even if you have a career gap, I have a master resume template with an example that I include in all of my programs. So if you've ever enrolled in a program before, we will also have these same, if you've never enrolled in my programs, we will have those same templates inside of the resume. And I gotta just say, ignore that so that stops. Yeah, there we go. Okay. That will all the templates will be in this program as well. Good question. Yeah, and if you guys have any questions about anything that we talked about today, pop that in as well, and I'll answer those. Let's see. Yep, and the fast action bonus, make sure you guys, if you want to join us for that, we did add 20 more spots. That probably will be gone by today. So if you want to join us and you're like one of those fast action takers, I'm not. I'm like the type of person that I wait until the timer reaches 0. That's what I do. Yeah, so Frank, if I'm a paid member of your community, is the workshop still $67? Yes, this is a brand new workshop. This is not a workshop that's included in any of my programs. This is kind of like a one-off workshop that we've designed and created to help people that might not be able to get into some of our larger programs, just to make it a little bit more economical. Does anyone know what 6-7 means? Let me know in the chat if you do. My kids sure do. Yes, good. Yes, I love it. Jeffrey says, better coordinate my LinkedIn profile with my resume. Yep. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that during next week's live session. So make sure if you guys want to join us for that you get in and join us, and we'll see you there. Okay, any last minute questions, you guys? Thanks so much for joining us live. And also tell Catherine and Tim thank you. This was such a fun session. Oh, I love it. Daddy O's, is it like Omar, my Omar from my academy? Is that who you are? You said, this is Omar, by the way. And if you're my Omar, then hello, how are you? I love it. Yes, good, you guys. Let me see if there's any other last minute things that I wanted to mention here. Marcus, happy to see you. How was your phone screening? Yes, make sure you watch the replay as well. You can jump in and listen to it at any time. This replay is going to be up for a while on the channel. So good, you guys. Okay, last minute reminders. If you haven't already hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button for this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure if you have a friend that could use this training, share this link with them and send this training to them. Also tell them about our resume and LinkedIn cover, or I want to say LinkedIn cover letter. It's our resume and LinkedIn makeover workshop next week. Okay, you guys, it's been such a blast hanging out with you today. Hopefully I'll see you guys next week. And if you have any questions, Tim, I'm not sure if you popped my email into the chat. If you want to do that really quickly, you can. Heather@professораustin.com. I actually have Tori. She's my virtual assistant. She's amazing. She sometimes joins us for these live streams. She will be moderating my email is what she does. So send me an email. She'll be there. I'll be there as well. Okay, you guys, we'll see you soon. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share this with anyone that might need it, and we'll be in touch. Bye, everyone.